Okay, well, hello, arranging class. I am going to post this on this video on Blackboard here as soon as I'm finished, and I'll probably need to break it up into 2 or 3 videos to make them easier to load. But the next thing that we will be doing is scoring a chord for the concert band, and which actually can be most of our arranging is going to be for concert band, but this chord is a way of scoring a chord where it's going to have all of the instruments in the same tessitura, which is important for balance. It's going to have a lot of power to it, especially depending on how high up, how bright, or how dark the chord is. But it's not the only way to score a chord, but it's a way to show you how the relationship of each of the instruments is regarding the tessitura. So if the trumpets are in a medium-high tessitura, then the trombones need to be in a medium-high tessitura, and so forth with the rest of the instruments. So I'm just going to talk us through this and kind of how it goes. And this is just what I call chord scoring exercise, and we're going to start with just the score order. And here on the left side will be the instruments that we're going to be scoring for: the piccolo, the flute, one oboe part, first clarinet part, a second and third clarinet part, B-flat clarinet, bass clarinet, bassoon, alto sax 1 and 2, tenor sax, bari sax, and then first trumpet has their own stave, then second and third trumpet, first and third horns, then the second and fourth horns, trombone 1, trombone 2 and 3, the euphonium, and the tuba. So what we do with this is take a triad in a certain position. It could be, fairly bright, fairly dark in your scoring. So the chord, or the triad that I'm giving you here at the top, is the one that we're going to score. This is concert pitch in the key of E flat major, and we're going to score those 3 notes for first trumpet, second trumpet, and third trumpet. Now I'm going to write all of this in concert pitch first, then we'll transpose. So when we go down here to the trumpets, the first trumpet would have the E flat, the second trumpet the B flat, the third trumpet they're sharing a staff on the G. And that's where we're going to begin, with the trumpet, and that triad is in a specific tessitura for the trumpet, which is basically what I call medium bright in its register, in the tessitura of the trumpet range. So then the first thing that we will do is score it for the brass instruments. And this is our method for this and getting everyone in the same tessitura. We had that triad, E flat, B flat, and G in the first, second, third trumpets. We're going to score the trombones next. The trombones and the trumpets, you may remember, their range is the same except it's an octave apart. So the trombones are sounding an octave lower. So we're going to give them the same notes that the trumpet, first, second, third trumpet had. So first trombone would have this E flat, which is an octave lower, and then the second and third, the B flat and the G, also an octave lower than the trumpets. Then the French horns are next. The range of the horn lies between the trumpets and the trombones. So with this particular technique of scoring, I'm going to, let's go back up here, just look at the triad. This is our trumpet, and then I'm going to start with the third trumpet note, and I'm going to double that in the first French horn. So the first horn would be playing that G, and then we're going to continue the triad down, then the E flat in a closed position triad for the third horn. And the second and fourth horns, for school band music, the horn parts, even though there are 4 horn parts, they are very often written in either 2 parts or 3 parts. And with 3 parts, of course, you have a triad, the possibility of just a 3-note triad. By doubling the second and fourth horns on the third note of your triad, and usually then on the lowest of the 3 notes, is the best way to do that. And to mention at this point that with French horns, the first horn takes the highest note. The third horn takes the second highest note. Now I know that seems odd, but there's a tradition involved here that comes from the orchestra in scoring two horn parts on each staff, so they would keep the notes farther apart, so the first and third would have a part on a different on different staves, and the second and fourth would have different parts on different staves. So you would have a more of a space between the notes, and so that is just a tradition that has carried through to band. So on the horns, then we have those 3 notes of the E flat triad: the G for the first horn, the E flat, and then the B flat. So they have bridged the octave here, the trumpets and trombones, and then we have left the euphonium, and the euphonium is going to, in this particular scoring, is going to play the root of the chord on the E flat third space. We're using bass clef for all of our euphonium stuff. I'm not going to use any treble clef. And then the tubas, they're going to be always, for this exercise, they're going to always be scored on the root. So that makes all of these chords, when the band is playing, all of these chords will be in root position. The trumpets are not in root position, but that's not what determines whether this triad that we're scoring is in root position or not. What matters is what is sounding in the bass, and we're using the bass instruments on all on the root for all the scorings. I can just move this triad, you see, up and down the staff in close positions to get a darker tessitura, a medium tessitura, a brighter tessitura. So those 3 trumpet parts might be in root position, they might be in first inversion or second inversion, and we'll see that with some of the subsequent chords. Okay, I'm going to shut this one off and start another one.